let's get started with today's orientation. And again, good morning and welcome to this workshop of preparing your future exciting career in agriculture and food. It's really an honor to have everybody here, the prospective students, and it's really important that you understand more about the agriculture and food science and what it's really about. With me, I have my colleague and fellow student ambassador, Bill Yu. Bill, if you'd like to take an opportunity to introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Jasandeep. So, as I mentioned before, good morning, everyone, and my name is Bill Yu, and I'm a third-year food science student from one of our most popular undergraduate programs within agriculture and food sciences. And yes, I would like to start with a little bit introduction with myself. Could you slide to the next slide, please? Yes. So I'm a third-year food science student from China, so I'm also an international student ambassadors within our faculties and one of our food sciences ambassador as well. And one of my favorite classes within the faculty is the fermented dairy products, where you have the chance to taste, manufacture, and produce your own cheese, ice cream, and all kinds of different variety dairy foods within this class. And my career focus would be in the food quality and safety aspects, which is my future careers. And I will pass it back to Jasandeep.
Thank you so much, Bill, for your introduction. And again, my name is Jasandeep Grewal, and I am the Masters of Biosystems Engineering student here at the U of M. And I've been here for 1 year in Canada. Actually, today is the exact date when I came to Canada, so a lot of memories come back to me. And I am really excited to share my international experience as well as graduate experience with you. A little bit about myself. Well, I am in the final term of my program and really excited to finish my program and get out there and get a really good job. And my career focus is getting into an HR plus a technical type of job because I love to work with people and I would really love to continue to walk down that path, but also I want to work on my technical skills. So really looking for that blend. And I also work as an office assistant, to be precise, as a student educator for the Office of Human Rights and Conflict Management at the U of M. Right, so let's talk a little bit about agricultural and food science. Generally, when somebody hears about agriculture, the general idea is that it's all about farming. It's true that the farming is a part of it, but really it's beyond just the farming. The food might be produced at a farm, but then the next steps that follow that production are really crucial to that whole food chain. So we have food distribution, we have food product developers who really develop the product. Once the product is developed in the factory or in any plant, that is sent to the people who do the retailing and the marketing. That's a really important step. Once those products come to the market via sales and marketing people, they reach us when we buy the product and it comes to our table, to our plates. Once we consume, there is some waste which is sent to the waste management people. There is a lot of research and development involved in this, which all resonates back to food production. So agriculture is not just about being on a farm or managing the farm using the agriculture implements. It's really, really beyond that. We have a science part to it. We have a research part to it. We have a marketing part to it. There's a lot to do in the agriculture food chain. So moving forward, let's discuss few careers in agriculture because that's a really important thing to discuss as we move forward. So firstly, I would like to talk about careers in business and finance. Unlike like every business out there, agriculture is also about producing a product, but also selling it out to the market. And definitely there has to be a business aspect to it. That is why U of M has this amazing business called agribusiness. We both have a bachelor's and a master's option to it. So what agribusiness is about? Well, if you are interested in business, but you want to work specifically into the agriculture side of the business, then this program is definitely for you. our alumni got understood this importance, and he is our agribusiness alumni. Currently, he's working as a commercial account manager at one of the top banks in Canada. And his work as a commercial account manager is to assist small business owners, assist farm managers and small farm owners to get the capital, do the investments, help them to reach their production goals and farming goals, and of course, benefiting the economy of Canada because that's our eventual goal. And we also have Brian. He also studied agribusiness, and he is working as a territory sales representative in a really big company in Canada. And working as a territory sales representative, he deals with farming management, farming communities. He deals with farmers directly. He educates those people about sales, and he represents their case and their product in the market. It's really a great opportunity if you really want to get into business, but also into an agriculture side. Well, elaborating more on agribusiness, let's talk about a few career options. So once you have an agribusiness degree in your hand, let it be a bachelor's or master's, you can get into management where you can work as a farm manager or as a production manager. You can also go into policy and regulation. Nowadays, policy and regulation is, I would say, career of the future because it's an upcoming career and not a lot of people know about it, but it's a really promising one. You can also work in the human resource and relations. To be specific, you can work as a public relations specialist. You can also be a corporate recruiter. Of course, you'll be in the marketing and sales because agriculture produces the product and we need people who need to sell that product in the market. You can play a great role in the logistics. And in the logistics, you must have heard of supply chain. It's a big thing when it comes to logistics because the product needs to reach from the producer via the middleman to the consumer. So that's a really important step right there. And you can also be a financial service representative. You can work at a bank. We have a lot of banks in Canada who actively hire agribusiness graduates, and it's a really high-paying job. You can also work as an auditor for a company or even for a government organization. Moving forward, let's talk about careers in crop production. And when we talk about crop production, what actually comes to that argument is that we work with soil, we work with plants, we work how can we manage our water and land resources. And all of that is covered in our program called agronomy. We have a master's option for that program as well. And few alumni to be mentioned here. Nate, he is our agronomy alumni. He is currently working as an agronomy specialist for the Canola Council of Canada. It's a government organization. And getting a government job is a really good sign that he is really doing good in his career. Working as an agronomy specialist, he helps build up plans in collaboration with the government. He understands, he reaches out to the farmers, understands what their needs are, what their problems are, and he comes up with new techniques, maybe new plans, which can help them to manage their farms and increase their crop production, and also manage their land and water resources in a smart way. Dane is also another alumni from agronomy. He is working currently as an industry development specialist for a Manitoba Agriculture Resource Development, again, a government organization. What he does and as an industry development specialist is that we have conventional type of oils and the oil seeds. All of that is out there, but then his job is to come up with new varieties of oil, maybe new ways of production of oil. How can we get maximum yield out of an oil seed? That is the main highlight of Dane's job, and he's doing God's work, working in the government branch, specifically in Manitoba. And if we had to shed some light on the career options as an agronomist, well, you can definitely work as a crop production expert, where you can give advice on pest control. You can work in the irrigation sector. You can go into development like Dane. You can work as an agriculture engineer. I did my bachelor's in agriculture engineering, and I understand it's a really important branch in agriculture when it comes to the whole scenario of agriculture. You can work as a field science. If you want to work, if you like to work in the field, you like to work out there, and get that real experience, you can definitely do that with the agronomy degree. You can be out there doing crop scouts, landscaping, being an agronomist, being a soil scientist. That would mean go to the field, take soil samples, come back to the lab, do the testing, and help the farmers understand the nature of their soil in a way that they can get the maximum yield out of their crops. You can also work in sales and outreach. Moving forward, let's talk a little bit about careers in environment. And we have a specific program for that, that is agroecology. And if you are somebody who would like to work towards the sustainability part of the environment, because it's a big thing nowadays, we see that the past actions of humans have led to a little bit damage to our environment, and we really need to address that. So if you are somebody who wants to work in that direction, specifically sustainability in agriculture, because as agriculturists, it is our responsibility to make sure that all our practices are sustainable. And if you want to go to that direction, agroecology degree will definitely help you to go into that direction. And we have our alumni, Catherine, who is even working with our university right now as a research associate. I had a privilege to work a summer job with her, and she is a really skilled and knowledgeable person. She has a lot of field experience, and she is like a great mentor to budding agriculturalists or agroecologists. And we also have Taran as alumni. She's working as a resource manager for another government agency. So what a resource manager does is, like I said, we have to maintain sustainability in every agriculture practice. A resource manager makes sure of the resources that we have, keeps them in account, keeps in account the requirements, and makes sure we do not waste any resource, and every resource is used to its best extent, to its maximum capacity. And that's what Terran is doing, and it's really amazing work. To reflect a little bit more about the careers of agroecology, you can work as a biologist. If you like to work in a lab and you have a liking towards biology, you can definitely work as an ecologist. You can work in the lab to run some tests and give those inputs to the field people so that they can do the field practices in an effective way. You can work as a water quality technician, pollution control technologist, and you can also work in the waste management, because sustainability and waste management, they go hand in hand. They are all like joined together when it comes to sustainability. You can also work as somebody who provides solutions, and to be specific, sustainable solutions to our farmers out there, or to the farms, big farms as well. You can also work in the policy and assessment. And as always, communication. Companies, especially the big companies out there, and they pay huge money to agroecologists because they need somebody with the knowledge of agriculture and agroecology, and they need their message to be delivered to different parties. So you can definitely do wonders in the communication branch. And as always, like I said, sustainability, it's also conservation. So you can work as soil conservationist. My grandfather worked as a soil conservationist back in India, and it was an awesome job. I saw him actually work in the field and help a lot of farmers who had a less yielding field. He helped them to reclaim the soil, and now their fields are high yielding, which is awesome, I would say. That was my part, and I would pass the baton to Bill, and he'll talk to you about careers in plant science and some other careers as well. Bill, over to you.
Thank you so much, Jess. So right now I will take on from the plant science part. Starting with the plant science, or to say plant biotechnology, which is a very very research related and study focused program in our faculty, which is the study of the sciences and technologies applied to the improvement of agricultural and horticultural crops. In this case, you might be thinking that plant science is all about science. That's also true, but the thing is, within our faculty, it was more related to the crops, productions, and all the other parts. So it is a really field related and research related study focus, which means you will have a lot of chance to study in the labs and conducting researches and all kinds of studies and also investigations with the crops, either from a biological level or maybe a chemistry level or a genetic levels. So let me start with a few alumni here. First, I will go with Dr. Richard Cuthbert, which is one of our alumni, and he's our spring wheat breeder who works with researchers nationally and internationally to build better wheat variety with different cutting-edge technologies within the field to benefit the farm productivity and reduce the risk of the value chain. So it is really exciting to see new varieties emerge from this single process based on selection of the laboratories and field nurseries globally that will ultimately be adopted by farmers and grow on millions of acres annually. Well, also here we got Victoria, who is the director of the research at the Cereal of Canada. So she works with the wheat value chain as well to set national research priorities for wheat, as well as to address marketing access issue to maintain the reputation of the reliable supplier and of the safe quality wheat and barley and oats with all kinds of crops that normally grows in Canada and also globally. Well, in that case, I might like to introduce a few more career options in plant sciences and biotechnologies. Next slide, please. So with that being said, plant biotechnologies, it can lead you into several concentrations. You can either start with the chemistry stuff, where you will study the chemistry and the biochemical properties of the crops to study their characteristics and how the texture, how the properties of their chemical performance to influence the overall product yield, production of the crops within the field. Some job examples of this including analytical chemist, formulation chemist, and laboratory technicians, where you will have a lot of chance to access the lab, conduct your chemistry in experiments, and find out more about the plant itself. While if you ever want to take a path into biology, that's also a very good pathway to go, because biological of the plant is always the base and the fundamentals of the plant to get growth. And without biology, you cannot grow good plants without some certain technicals. So plant pathologists, plant tissue culture technicians, and plant psychologists, these are all simple jobs that help the plant to grow better biologically. And also, some interesting parts about plant biotechnology is that you can study genetics to solve some issues on gene level, like how to avoid some diseases from the gene level, or how to build better varieties and cultivars from a genetics level. Some job examples of this will include plant breeder, plant propagator, and plant genetics. And some other jobs of this plant biotechnology will be more field and market related, concludes the sections of production and development, data and design, sales and outreach. These are the jobs more compared to the other parts will be more related to the field and the market itself. So we'll get more realistic and more industry to get into the food industry. Now I'd like to talk about some kind of careers within the animals. If you're ever interested in animals, this will be some very good experience for you. So we do have these careers within one of our programs, animal system, which is the study of the animal production, including genetics, anatomy, physiology, nutrition, health, and reproduction of the animals. And animal system, of course, it will be every single aspect about animals, from the well-being of animals, the health, condition, nutrition, and even into the reproduction part of the animals. And let's share some alumni profiles of our animal system graduates. So first, Mark, he is a manager of the quality assurance animal care programs at the Manitoba Pork Commodity Group, which is the most biggest provisional pork community group within Manitoba. And he developed an interest during his bachelor degrees at UBC to look at the economic benefits of the improvement of animal welfare. And afterwards, his degrees in U of M would prove this to be a very big interest and developing parts of the animal system. Then these degrees, animal system has eventually led him into this job, manager and quality assurance, which he finds is fairly interesting to study all those well-being and welfare equal rights of the animals. And also we have here Adele, who is the agricultural county educator coordinator at the Lakehand College. So what does this job do is she plans short courses for students, staff, and the public audience that are focused and interested on the personal and professional development with the agriculture industry, especially in the animal science part. So this job gives you the freedom to build a continuing education department from the group up, which means the ability to create several new courses based on the animals. And there's actually more of animal system from the career pathway. So here we have, like I mentioned above, animal system, it will be everything about animals, from the animal nutrition and quality assurance and sales, from the food animal production, which is a big part of the raw ingredient coming into our food industry, and also animal health, which is the most equal rights and basic life well-being of the animal itself. So these jobs will provide you the opportunity to learn and take care of the animals more, and as well as how to develop your farming and animal management to ensure your animal in good health and increase their life duration, and also make sure your final products quality is to make sure they meet the standards and requirements of the Canada. While two other fairly interesting part about the animal system is research and analysis, and also about wildlife. These are two interesting part and developing part of the animal system, which has been developing recent years, especially the wildlife part, because in the past, people don't usually notice the importance of taking care of the wildlife animals, while in nowadays, with the development of the ecosystem and the earth resource management, people are nowadays realize more importance in the wildlife. And therefore, for our students, wildlife focused industry will have a promising future. Let me have you. Next slide, please. Now I'm going to talk a little bit careers in nutrition. And in this case, we will have our programs, Human Nutritional Sciences, which is the study of the promotion of human health through food, nutrition, and health eating daily diets for individuals and communities. This one will be more interesting, and it is one of our most popular programs within the faculties, because it always leads to a variety of the career paths, as well as a big variety of the knowledge that you might apply into your future careers. And start with sharing some alumni profiles here. Laura, she's our special event coordinator at our Manitoba Pork. And what this job means is she provides opportunities to collaborate with other industry leaders to promote agriculture and nutrition health in Manitoba. So she's been working with several farmers and several public groups to share their stories of how our food and how our food nutritional values is grown and raised, even had the television appearance on the Great Taste Manitoba, which is a great show in our province. And also we here have Amanda, who is a alumni from our program as well. She is a registered dietitian and nutritional program educator at the Dairy Farm of Manitoba, which is the biggest farmer association in our province. In this job, she provides training and nutritional programs to Manitoba teachers so they can help their students and other parents feel comfortable around food, eating healthy and their bodies to build up some really good health conditions. The physiology that shapes the resources and the programs is really good to help with this job as well. And what else can human nutritional science bring us? Well, let's take a look. So for human nutritional health, there are always several sectors that you can look into. Firstly, you can either look into the food industry part, where you work on the base of the food nutrition. You can just adjust the raw ingredient of the food to optimize the nutritional value and also promote the commodity health and commodity values as well. So in this case, you will either be a market nutritionist, food product and recipe developer, which will learn about what people love about our food and what can we do better to promote and increase our nutritional values in this one. While on the other hand, you can also work in the public health aspect, which will more related to the government issues like registration, regulations, and different standards as we have here in Canada and also globally. And also make sure your different groups knows about how to eat healthy, provide suggestion to them and help them to build up a healthy diet. Also, you can working as a consultant in a variety of the field, especially nowadays, Canadian and globally hospital, they are requiring dietitian and nutritional consultants in their hospital and facilities. Because nowadays, with only medicines is not enough to build up human body health. You also need a very scientific and balanced health diet to help you build up your body health and to help you maintain all the balance within human body system. So with that being said, consultation is also one of the probably surprising but very promising future that you can have with human nutritional health. And of course, you can become some educators about human nutritional health. With all those knowledge you have, you can popularize all the knowledge about healthy diet, about food and nutritional values, about how to choose food wisely, how many food or carbohydrates should I intake every single day to maintain the balance and good diet of the daily intake. And one of the most popular and most promising ways is always the dietetic specializations, which also we have one of those pathways with our faculties. So in this case, you will have the pathway to become a registered dietitian within Canada, which is a recognized and decent jobs. And in this case, you will have the opportunities to take some industry experience and take some internship within different enterprise. So you will say, what does people need most about their nutrition value? And you provide professional and scientific suggestions and advice. Even make some plans like dietitian plan to those clients who was requiring all those plans. Next slide, please. And finally, I want to talk a little some careers in food science and food industry as well. This is the food industry and food science are totally based on the food sciences, which we have two program options. and it is the study of the process of safe, healthy food production from raw commodities and the science and regulation present throughout the process. So you will be learning from the beginning of the raw ingredient into the final step of marketing and selling those products. It is a very broad way of study, and therefore you will have a lot of industry options and also career paths with these programs. Some examples would continue like Melanie, who is our head of technical advisors at the Canadian Grain Commissions. Some of you might not know about HACCP means, but basically it's like a safety plan and where you should have established before your enterprise, your industry, your company have practiced any kind of food production procedures. This is the plan to make sure you have every single steps meet our regulations to avoid any microbiology or chemical cross-contaminations about your food products. Make sure they have good qualities, free from all contaminants, and safe to sell to your customers. Melanie says she provides assistance to the industry to help them meet regulatory or customers' requirements, but also she will work with other government issues and agencies to ensure that the safety requirements are consistent along the supply chain. So which means you will have the chance to monitor the whole process of the food production. And also we have here Christian Davis, who was also one of our alumni, and now he's working as a lab technician at our Canadian Grain Commission as well. So like I said, food science is applied sciences and it is a general sciences. So which means you will have a lot of opportunities to conduct your research, experiment in the labs and researches and studies with different topics in the labs, because you need to study the texture, analyze sensory evaluations of the food. Therefore, it will be a very interesting job at all. With that being said, food science actually provides you with a variety of jobs that you can choose from. The career paths is very integrated with both food side and science side. To begin with, you need some product development of your food product. You need to have some idea, and you need to come with some ways to optimize the systematic process of the food production. So which means you will be having some, even say, engineering part in this program, and engineering jobs in the future lies ahead of you. That's also true. And also in the same time, product development food scientist is a very interesting job, because you need to study how should we improve our food products, how should we increase our commercial value and increase our, let's say, mouthfeel of the food products, optimize the texture to increase the crispiness or increase the flavor of the product. While in the other ways, you can also work with safety and quality aspects, also regulatory perspective, and also food chain and marketing perspective. Those would be more related to government agency, because here in Canada, North America, and even globally, we have very strict standard regulations on food safety qualities, and you will make sure your food products meet with those regulations to ensure your quality and safety, to avoid any foodborne illnesses on those things. Because foodborne illnesses is not just a very serious health issue, but it's also a big commercial loss when you really come into the industry. So with that being said, safety, regulatory, and food chain marketing, those are very important aspects and, let's say, the most fundamental parts of the food industry. While processing and packaging and also industry research, those are two parts will be more related to the developing of the food, because you want to promote your food in a better ways, and you want to make sure your food products can sell out to more customers. So that's why you are conducting industry research to find out what kind of food does our customer likes, what kind of food can we make better to increase this commercial value of our company, and to say what is the exact thing that our customer want and need. And also processing is the way to optimize your procedures, increase your value, save your cost of the industry, and also makes more benefits of the companies and the industry as well. And let's move to the next slide. So let's come to a conclusion of our programs and our exciting career paths that we would provide in our faculties. And with all those programs, you might be interested. Well, you might not have made your mind now, but if you are ever interested, we are always here to help you. So if you want to know more about our program information, you are always more than welcome to contact our student service office, which is the office of our academic advisor within the faculty, is always willing to help you out with all kinds of questions you might have. So send an email to us at aginfo@umanitoba.ca, and we will be more than happy to help you. And we also have Kaylin Spain, our supervisor of our ambassadors, and also our recruitment coordinator in the faculties. Anything related to career aspect, and also if you want to know about career resources either within the university or within Canada, you are always welcome to send the emails to her at kaylinspain@umanitoba.ca. She also got a lot of resources towards student internship and how to get hands-on experience in the industry. And also, if you are ever interested about student experiences, either as a student within our faculty or as an international student studying in Canada, you can come to us, student and ambassador emails at agfood.ambassador@umanitoba.ca. So feel free to reach out anytime, and we will be always happy to help you out. And I will pass it to Jasandeep.
Thank you so much, Bill. And we have a lot of ways for you to reach out to us to learn more about our faculty and understand the student experience. Our Instagram page is somewhere we post a lot of campaigns. Me, along with a lot of other ambassadors, we put reels and short videos sharing the student experience of a student at the University of Manitoba. We have different career workshops, different skill development workshops. All of those things are on the Instagram page. We are also active on Facebook as well as Twitter. And we have a lot of job postings, research opportunity postings on LinkedIn. And YouTube is a really good place to understand more about our faculty. We have a lot of informative videos of the events of the past or events that we might be doing in the future. All of those resources are there on YouTube. So we have a lot of ways for you to learn about our faculty and get in connection with us. There is another way in which you can learn more about our faculty. And as you saw those beautiful graphics in some previous slides, that those are what we call as occupational mind maps. And if you draw your attention towards the screen, specifically this part, where it says occupational mind maps, you can go to vfeedyourfuture.ca and go click on this option, and you will find those graphics there. Once you are on the website, you can click on each job title. And once you click on the job title, you'll get a proper description of the job and all the job responsibilities. That way you can understand that this program helps you to get into this career, and this career has these responsibilities and these opportunities that you can benefit from. And it's also a website where you find Bill and I and the other ambassadors. We have our profiles here. So if you are able to relate with any ambassador, you'll find their email next to the bio data. Feel free to shoot them an email, and we would be happy to answer your questions and help you understand which would be a best option for you as you move forward with the agriculture option. Thank you so much, and I hope you understand better what the agriculture is about, that it's not just about the farming, it's way, way beyond it. We have a science part in it, and we have a research part in it, and many more. So thank you so much for being a patient audience. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. That was so great hearing from Jasandeep and Bill. Just some really in-depth knowledge about the career opportunities. I love getting to know a little bit more about yourselves and your experiences, but also just about what some of the amazing alumni from the University of Manitoba are accomplishing out there. So thank you for sharing that with us. So my role here is just to provide a really high-level overview information about Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and the University of Manitoba. So let's go ahead and get started. My name is Carrie. I am responsible for recruiting students in Southeast Asia, and I've been doing so for a number of years. I've been working fairly closely with CEI Indonesia for the last little while, so that's been a great pleasure. And, you know, I am a graduate from the University of Manitoba. I have some of the fondest memories were created at this institution. And so I always do enjoy being able to share a little bit about that with folks like you. So I do appreciate you taking the time with us today. Before we get started, I always like to just show a map of Canada to kind of point us all in the direction of where we are located. The University of Manitoba is located in Winnipeg, which is the capital city of the province of Manitoba, and we really are in the heart of Canada. We're about a 2.5-hour flight to Vancouver and a 2-hour flight to Toronto, just to put it into perspective to some of the other major cities in Canada. We're also just a 2-hour car ride to the US border south of us as well. Manitoba and Winnipeg are very, very diverse. We're home to over 800,000 people in Winnipeg, speaking more than 100 different languages. So we're really proud of our diversity here. I suspect that part of the reason why we've recently been named one of Canada's best communities by Maclean's magazine has a lot to do with our multiculturalism and our diversity, but also just opportunities within the city of Winnipeg and outside of Winnipeg to explore. We do experience all 4 seasons. We have hot summers and cold winters, and our spring and fall are somewhere in between. They're a little bit of a nice transition time. If you're starting your studies in the fall, I always recommend that that's a good time to start to acclimatize to our winters here in Manitoba. But we do find that students really do embrace our seasons and take advantage of, you know, learning and participating in new activities that perhaps they haven't tried before, snowshoeing, outdoor winter camping, skating, curling, you name it. So there's lots and lots to do. We're a real festival hub here in Manitoba and in Winnipeg as well. And in fact, one of our my favorite festivals is called Folklorama, and it is an opportunity for our folks from all over the world get to put on pavilions to showcase their culture, their heritage, their music and dance and food. And I love going to the Indonesian pavilion each year. So it's a really nice opportunity. But, you know, all year long, we have festivals happening, even in the winter here in Manitoba. I mentioned earlier, we're quite diverse, over 100 different ethnic groups speaking 100 different languages. So whether it be your time at the University of Manitoba, or you are going and checking out some professional sporting events, or you're looking at, you know, checking out some of the art galleries in Winnipeg or the music scene, everywhere you go, you will meet friendly folks from really all walks of the earth. That really has a lot to do with our strong, strong approach to immigration. So through our Manitoba Provincial Nominee Program, graduates from the University of Manitoba can really fast track immigrating here. So that's a really great opportunity if that's something that you're interested in doing post-graduation. Something else that makes Manitoba quite unique is really our strong and stable economy. Part of the reason why our economy is so strong and stable is because we rely on so many different sectors and so many different industries. For example, our agriculture industry is one of the top. Manitoba is one of the top agriculture producing provinces in the country. We have the largest aerospace center in Western Canada, and really a real strong tech hub as well. So really in all different sectors, there's opportunities for employment, both when you're a student as well as when you graduate. But it really helps to maintain that stability in our employment rates in Manitoba. And we don't tend to have major dips and falls when one particular industry is struggling. All of that while being the #1 most cost competitive city in all of Western Canada and the US. So just to put some cost into perspective, the average monthly rent for a room in Winnipeg is far less than some of the larger cities like Toronto and Vancouver, but even similar sized cities like Ottawa, Calgary, we tend to be a lower overall cost of living than our sister communities. So now that we've talked about Manitoba and Winnipeg, let's focus in on the University of Manitoba, our beautiful and historic campus. We love showing this aerial picture of our traditional walking campus. So that's a nice feature that you won't be interrupted by busy downtown streets. You can get to all of our buildings across campus by foot, both above ground and underground. So many of our buildings are connected by underground tunnel, which makes it convenient, especially in the winter months. Lots of our students have locker spaces, so they'll put their outerwear away and then they can get around for most of the day. Many of our students, of course, live on campus as well, so you can get quickly connected to the tunnels from most of our residence buildings as well. We have been around for many years. We are the oldest university in Western Canada, and we have just over 30,000 students studying in over 100 academic programs. So really the focus today is on agricultural and food sciences, but we really do have a little bit of something for everyone here at the University of Manitoba. We're a member of the U15, which is Canada's top 15 research intensive universities. So rest assured, the programming, the professors, the teaching excellence that you're going to experience here at the University of Manitoba can take you anywhere. So you can actually stay and work in Canada after you graduate. You can go back to your home country, or really you can diversify and go elsewhere. But your degree at the University of Manitoba will be internationally recognized. And there will be lots of opportunities for you to get involved in research. Jasandeep and Bill talked a little bit about that within agricultural and food sciences, but in every different program across campus, there are opportunities for students to be involved in research, whether that's something that you want to dabble in when you're in your undergrad to figure out if that's something that you want to continue doing after your first degree, or maybe you want to earn an income. We have research assistant positions where our students will maybe gain full-time employment throughout the summer months in research labs. And then my favorite, when I was an art student, and I participated in a lot of research when I was a University of Manitoba student. And so, all of my colleagues and peers at the university were doing their own research. And so by participating, of course, we need subjects. And so that was a great way for me to get involved and get exposed and learn as well. We also like to highlight our opportunities for work integrated learning, and those are across campus, whether that be through internships, practical work experience, those are sometimes required for some programs, of course. Volunteer opportunities are in abundance as well, but through co-op education is one of the particular ones that I want to highlight. It is available in 42 of our programs here at the University of Manitoba. Co-op education is paid work experience. So you would have the opportunity to, in addition to your 4-year degree that you're earning at the University of Manitoba, you can actually tack on an extra year and get 1 year of working experience, paid working experience with 3 different companies. So you would do 3 different work terms, they're 4 months long, and you would integrate both your work term as well as your schooling over your last 2 years of university. So don't stress too much. That's not something that you need to decide today that you're going to do. It is available in many of our programs, including our agricultural and food sciences. That's something that you'd want to look into in your first and second year of university to prepare for those last 2 years of university and doing that co-op education. On-campus living is certainly recommended for those of you who are coming to Winnipeg for the first time. If you don't have any friends or family, I strongly suggest that living on campus is certainly the most convenient, and it's a great way for you to make connections as soon as you step foot on campus. We do allow students to live off campus, so international students can live off campus if you happen to have friends or family living in the area. And we also do offer some homestay programming, so that would be an opportunity for you to live with a Canadian host family if that's something that you're interested as well. And just thinking about opportunities for growth and development, when I think of my fondest memories, yes, I was very satisfied and happy with my education, but certainly it was those opportunities to meet new people and to develop my skills and to grow my resume that I look back at and I don't want to ever take for granted. Whether that be participating in the 150 plus student clubs, getting involved in the Indonesian Society of Manitoba through our AMSU student clubs as well. Volunteer opportunities to help build your resume. We always like to encourage, in particular, international students to take advantage of opportunities for you to get some work and experience in Canada, and you can do so through a lot of our volunteer opportunities as well as career opportunities at the University of Manitoba. I also just like to highlight our state-of-the-art active living center. It's definitely the largest and probably the most all-inclusive active living center, I would say, across the prairies. Tons of equipment, lots of different spaces for you to get together with your friends. We have table tennis, we have basketball courts, swimming pool, group fitness classes, martial arts, Pilates, and relaxation. So we really want to encourage you to take care of yourself and stay healthy. Make sure that you take breaks from classes and stay healthy and active and potentially try something new when you get to university. And then, of course, cheer on our Bison athletes. They're competing at the national level and representing the University of Manitoba in a variety of different sports. And it's just a fun way to cheer on the Bisons and do something a little bit different outside the classroom. One other last highlight that I'd like to make is just an opportunity for you to even further internationalize your university experience, whether that be through our community engaged learning opportunities, both here in the province of Manitoba as well as around the world. But you also have the opportunity to do some study abroad through our exchange programs. So we do have sister universities around the world, and that's a great way for you to maybe learn even more cultures and different languages. And you get to do that while continuing to complete your University of Manitoba degree. So you don't have to pause your studies in order to get this type of experience. And you get to pay University of Manitoba tuition fees, which we'll talk about shortly as well. So I mentioned earlier, we do offer over 100 academic programs at all levels at the University of Manitoba. My area of expertise is undergraduate programming, so that's where I'm going to focus the next couple of slides. But certainly I know some of you might be interested in or potentially have some questions about some of the graduate programs, so we'll do our best to answer those at the end of the session. So I know this is probably hard to read, but I just like to show this slide so that you can see the breadth and depth of the programs available at the University of Manitoba, everything from architecture to graphic design, of course, business, engineering, science as well. But let's talk today really about how you can help nourish the world without costing the earth through the Faculty of Agricultural and Food Sciences. We do offer 4-year Bachelor of Science degrees in all of the areas that Bill and Jasandeep were talking about earlier. So agribusiness, agriculture, agroecology, entomology, food science, human nutritional sciences, as well as soil sciences. So in terms of joining the University of Manitoba, for those of you who are either graduating from high school or planning to graduate from high school soon, our applications generally open in the October before your starting intake, if you're thinking about starting in the fall. So sometime between October and our March 1st deadline is generally when we would be encouraging you to submit that application. So for those of you who maybe are in grade 11 this year, you still have some time to explore and start working with us again in the fall. For anyone who is actually graduating this year and is still thinking about going to university, we still do have some opportunities. Even though one of our application deadlines has passed, we do have an opportunity for you to still start at the University of Manitoba this fall. So we can talk about that and what your options are if that situation applies to you. In terms of our application process, once you submit an application for admission, we understand lots of you are probably still in the middle of your studies, whether that be high school or currently in university. So you apply first, and then you'll be able to submit your documents that are required. So depending on what you're applying to in your academic history, we'll have specific deadlines that you'll want to get those that information into the University of Manitoba to complete that whole application process. So in general, we do actually offer 3 flexible intakes each year. September, our fall term, is the most popular intake. And of course, all of our programs have a September intake. January is another popular starting term, which is our fall term. And many of our programs offer an intake in January, but not every single one of them. And I will mention that agriculture does accept students in both the fall and the winter term. And then a few programs also offer a May start date. So that's a summer intake as well. In terms of what we're looking for those of you who are graduating from high school or have already graduated, we need to see at least 5 full credits at that senior level. And for anyone who is thinking about transferring to the University of Manitoba, if you have a minimum of 24 credit hours from a recognized post-secondary institution, then we will be able to assess your eligibility based on your post-secondary experience and admit you via the advanced entry route. Now, each of our programs does have their own set of unique admission requirements. So what I'm going to do today is just show you an example of our admission requirements for our students coming directly from high school. For those of you who are graduating or have graduated from high school and you don't have any university experience, we are looking for an equivalent minimum average of 70% over your senior level English, mathematics, chemistry, and physics. So if you are presenting these grades, then you will be offered a spot in programs within the Faculty of Agricultural and Food Sciences. Some of our programs at the University of Manitoba are open. That means that we have the right amount of seats available for the students who are applying, and that's great. Whereas select programs may have more competitive averages that are needed. Usually we'll make mention of that in our admission requirements. So if there is another program that you're thinking about and have questions about it, I can certainly help address any specifics that you have there. Our English language proficiency requirement is equivalent to a 6.5 IELTS or an 86 TOEFL score. So we'll need you to present a test at some point in your application cycle as well. Just something that I like to highlight is that we're an accessible university at the University of Manitoba. So for those of you who do meet our academic requirements as well as our English language proficiency requirements, then we're going to be encouraging you to apply directly to your degree program of choice here at the University of Manitoba. If anyone meets the academic requirements, but perhaps you don't have an English test or you need to improve your English score, our English Language Center offers an intensive academic English program that is an excellent opportunity for students to prepare for academic English in the Canadian university setting. So you would probably do 1 or 2 terms depending on your level of English coming in before going into your university studies. And finally, for anyone who does not meet our academic requirements, so perhaps you don't meet that 70% average that we talked about, or maybe you don't have the right coursework that's required for the degree program that you're interested in, we do have our pathway program at the University of Manitoba called the International College of Manitoba. They're located on campus, and they are accredited pathways. So that's a great opportunity and stepping stone to make sure that you get all the requirements that you need to be successful in that program. So let's talk quickly about some tuition and fees here at the University of Manitoba. Our fees do range by program. So that means that depending on the types of courses that you're taking, the number of courses that you're taking, your tuition fees will range. But most full-time first-year students are spending around $18,000, 300 Canadian per year. So that would be for the full fall and winter term. We always like to encourage students to set aside around $3,000 for textbooks, student fees, and extra supplies, health insurance. We want to make sure that there are no real big unexpected costs that come up throughout the school year. We want to make sure that you have that set aside at the beginning. And like I mentioned earlier, there's things that are all inclusive, like your active living center pass, access to libraries and tech spaces on campus and all of those, and as well your health insurance. We do reward high-achieving incoming high school students with our entrance scholarship program. So for those of you who are graduating from high school, applying to the fall term, and as long as you apply by our March 1st deadline, we will automatically assess your eligibility for our entrance scholarships, and they range from $1,000 up to $3,000 Canadian. A couple things to keep in mind about scholarships and awards, and maybe once we get to the Q&A, we'll see if Bill and Jasandeep have anything to add to this. But we also do the university continues to reward high achieving students throughout their degree through some continuing scholarships. So those do become available even after your first year, or for example, if you're not an incoming high school student, you're transferring to the University of Manitoba, there may be opportunities in the upper years for you to earn some scholarships. And I do know that agriculture is very well connected with industry here in Manitoba. And so there's a lot of additional external supports and funding coming through for agricultural and food sciences students as well. So a few last ways for you to connect with us throughout the year. We do offer virtual campus tours that you can take advantage of. It's a great way for you to see even more of campus. We have a series of online information sessions, both live and recorded. So that's something that you might want to take advantage of if you know this is something that you want to consider a little bit further. And we generally have 2 open house events each year. So one of them is in October and one of them is in fall. So depending on, or February, I should say. And so depending on when you're thinking about starting your studies, one of those open house events might be a good opportunity for you. I'm going to skip that video and just thank you for taking time again out of your Saturday morning to connect and hear from us. As mentioned earlier, there's lots of ways for you to hear the great stories from our students through our social media channels. So I encourage you to sign up and join and follow and stay connected with us for sure after today. So thank you.